How's it going, guys? Dustin at Daily Grind Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be building out a PrizePicks 5 flex slip using some of the top plays off the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Before we get into the video, though, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's start it off with Christian McCaffrey over 80.5 rush yards on PrizePicks. We'll go ahead and hop over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. We see Christian McCaffrey right here, at second to the top, right? 80.5 on PrizePicks, 86.5 on both Underdog and ParlayPlay. If we check the middling tool, go ahead and give it a refresh real quick. We can actually see right here, it shows the exact same things. And in fact, we have another data point we can go off of. So PrizePicks is set to 80.5. You have Underdog set to 86.5. You have ParlayPlay set to 86.5. And you have Vivid Picks set to 86.5. So just by comparing DFS apps to DFS apps, we are able to see and find a 6-yard discrepancy, right? Because with all these data points, so we have 3 data points or 3 DFS apps that are in agreement, this should be 86.5. It's clear that PrizePicks at 80.5 is off in comparison to the rest of the market that we currently have, right? So let's take advantage of this early value in NFL. Get this locked in. Christian McCaffrey plays on Sunday, week 4. We're going to go ahead and get him locked in at 80.5 rush yards here on PrizePicks. I did lock it in for us already. So Christian McCaffrey, 80.5 rush yards, going to start off the slip. Then we have Alyssa Thomas over 16 points, right? 16.5 on the sportsbooks. So we're getting a 0.5 discrepancy. We get a little bit of push potential here on PrizePicks. But minus 130 and minus 130 juice on 2 separate sports books to go over 16.5. So you're giving me minus 130 juice and a 0.5 discrepancy here on Alyssa Thomas's points. 55.65% odds to hit. So right off the top, or right off rip, we have a 55.65 and a 55.54. What we're looking for in a 5-pick flex for it to be a plus EV slip is average odds to hit, or fair odds percentage of 54.34%, which playing these high 55 or mid 55s in a slip with maybe even a 54.01% is going to have that average fair odds percentage above where we're needing it at the 54.34%. But let's keep talking about some of these high percentage plays because, of course, higher percent, the better, right? Christian Walker, Tim Anderson. So this is a little bit of around the world slip here. We're going to MLB now. Christian Walker, Tim Anderson, over 3 hits, runs, RBIs, 55.52%. So let's actually go ahead and get Alyssa Thomas added real quick here on PrizePicks as we're building it out. Boom. And then we'll head over to MLB. Christian Walker, Tim Anderson, over 3 hits, runs, RBIs, combo, 55.52%. Joey Lucchesi, Italian probably, under 4.5 player strikeouts, only 54.31%. So off jumped, if we use this tab here where we can actually search for plus EV plays in a 5-pick flex, there's technically only 3. But if you do the math and you take those average fair odds percent into consideration, we can go ahead and get this 54.31% play in, right? Under 4.5, you see sportsbooks do have juice on the under of 4.5 strikeouts. So no discrepancy here on Joey Lucchesi. But Pinnacle, minus 137. And then you've got a couple books that are closer towards the minus 130 area between FanDuel and DraftKings. A couple other books that are higher, minus 140 plus. You got Barstool, Caesars, and even Fliff at minus 165. So a solid play to get in under 4.5 strikeouts for Joey Lucchesi. And if you guys have noticed, I haven't shown you guys anything but sportsbook and DFS app data, right? I don't need to look at the last 5. I don't need to look at the last 10. I obviously see the matchup because it shows it here on PrizePicks, right? But I don't need to look up any of that. Everything that you're researching, if you're using fundamental analysis, is baked into these sportsbook odds, right? They know if Joey Lucchesi has gone over 4.5 strikeouts in 8 out of his last 10 games. He's playing the Marlins today. Maybe that takes into consideration, right? Because it does on the sportsbooks. We're trusting Vegas in the sportsbooks odds, and Vegas, who has been profitable over the long term for a really long time, setting these lines the way they do, giving these favorable outcomes that we are now tailing here at a better number on PrizePicks, right? So we're getting, look at Joey Lucchesi, we're getting this minus 139 play, average odds across the sports books, right? We see plenty of plays way better than this. Still a good play, right? We get this average of minus 139 at minus 119 and a PrizePicks 5 flex slip, right? So you're getting a way better bang for your buck playing this over here on PrizePicks. That's how we keep finding an edge, right? Playing these plays where you can get it at a set payout platform like PrizePicks, like ParlayPlay, like Underdog. And we could probably even build out a quick Underdog slip here in this video if I have a second after we get done building this out. Joey Lucchesi, we got in there, right? Now, Zach Thompson, 54.01%. Just under Joey Lucchesi. We're getting this minus 136 implied or average odds here on the sports books. Couple of books, 140 plus, right around that minus 136 area. Same thing, Zach Thompson on the Cardinals. We're going to be taking him. I don't even think we put, oh yeah, we did. We got Joey in there already. Zach Thompson under 4.5 strikeouts. Boom. And we're just going to double check we don't have any negative correlation, right? By negative correlation, we don't want to be taking a pitcher over strikeouts and a hitter going up against them over hits, runs, RBIs, right? Because that's a negative correlation. If that guy is getting more hits, less strikeouts for the pitcher, of course, right? And then we can also find positive correlation. As of right now, there's not really much. I do have some positive correlation we can get over on Underdog. So let's go ahead and finish this slip. So this is going to be the slip for PrizePicks. Christian McCaffrey over 80.5 rush yards. Alyssa Thomas over 16 player points. Christian Walker, Tim Anderson over 3 hits, runs, RBIs. Joey Lucchesi under 4.5 strikeouts. Zach Thompson under 4.5 strikeouts. Now, if we switch over to the Underdog Optimizer, right, we have a bunch of player fantasy scores here on the Optimizer. We have Alyssa Thomas as well. You can go ahead and secure that value on Underdog if you wanted to. But what we can do is we can get Ronald Acuna and Matt Olson in a slip together. We'll also take Adley Rutschman. But Ronald Acuna, if we click on the little tab there next to his name, that brings us over to the fantasy scores page. Ronald Acuna, in comparison to DraftKings, if DraftKings was to have a fantasy score market taking the near even lines of all the player stats or projections that make up hitter fantasy score here on Underdog, we would see that they would have this projected right around 8.7 fantasy score, right? Underdog is coming in too high in comparison to DraftKings at 10.5 fantasy score. And same thing with Matt Olson, right? Matt Olson set to 9 on Underdog. DraftKings would have this set to 7.6, so off by 1.4. But getting them in the same slip together, right? Let me go ahead and work on getting them in the same slip. Matt Olson under fantasy score, Ronald Acuna under fantasy score, right? Obviously, we have to add at least one more player from a different team in order to do so, right? In order to get this slip off. But taking 2 players on the under on the same team under fantasy score is positively correlated, right? If Ronald Acuna is not getting on base, Matt Olson sitting behind him, less chances for RBIs, less, if the Cubs pitcher is on point and both of them are struggling because the pitcher is doing so good, something like that, or vice versa. Matt Olson's in front of Acuna, not getting on base, Acuna less chance for RBIs, etc. Right? Just kind of how it works. Baseball correlation, not as heavily correlated as, let's say, football or in soccer or stuff like that, but still positively correlated. We have Adley Rutschman, who is also off by 1.4, like Matt Olson, in comparison to DraftKings. So we'll be taking an all under slip. I don't care if it's Ronald Acuna. I don't care if it's Matt Olson or Adley Rutschman. They're all studs. We get that, right? In comparison to DraftKings, the sports books, if they were to have a fantasy score market, these are set too high. And playing these projections over the long term would be profitable, right? So we're going to be taking the under on all 3 of these guys because this is what the sports books are projecting, right? In comparison to these DFS apps. I like this slip a lot. So we got 2 slips between PrizePicks and Underdog I built out. A little bit of correlation here on Underdog. We got some really good value secured. Hopefully we make it through these into Sunday, right? How cool would that be to sweat out Christian McCaffrey over 80.5 rush yards to start our Sunday? That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. drop a subscription, subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't subscribed already, because we'll be posting content all NFL, NBA, MLB season. It's nonstop here on this channel. But we do appreciate you guys watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's cash.